Hello! Today we're going looking inside this Scrawlrbox. If you don't know, it's art supplies from the UK. I do not live in the UK, so it's usually pretty interesting. Although they do have a lot of the same art supplies, but I digress. Let's take a look and see what's inside and make something with it. Alright, first up I see a very flat package. Oh, the paintbrushes. Ooh. This looks like watercolor, so I'm already intrigued. And the color scheme is very pretty. And we have a matching Scrawlrbox sticker. The menu. Is that pastels? We have a watercolor pencil in the color black. We have a white jelly roll in the size 08. And a was that a 6 or a 9? A number 6 round Seawhite brush. And the candy. A choose drumstick.
It looks like this.
Here we have the Scrawler zine of June 2020. I get these boxes late, and then I open them late, so it ends up being even later. Hello, it's Alice from Hello Alice. Ah, these zines are so cool. You run out of space for hanging up prints, you know? But these zines are so cute. Ah, so cute. Love the color scheme. Let's look at the print Alice made. Ooh, look at those eyes. Do you feel them looking at you? I'll have her linked in the description, but yeah, she's an amazing YouTube artist, and you should definitely go check out her channel. All right, we also have, this looks like a pad of paper, or is it just individual sheets? Danger. Let's get dangerous. Aging myself with that one. It's a reference to Darkwing Duck. Google it if they don't know. So it's a bunch of individual sheets of the Seawhite of Brighton 350 GSM watercolor paper. Let's listen. That sounds like good stuff. And finally, what I believe are not actually pastels, but something different. A special color selection, especially for Scrawlrbox by Derwent. That was, we'll just move on, I won't comment. So inside we have 6 colors, like a purple, a rose, a yellow, a blue, a green, and like a brown. It says they are the Derwent Inktense. The other art supplies I've used that go by that same name were watercolors and pencils. And the pencils were watercolor pencils, so I'm assuming this is some kind of watercolor chunk of something. Let me actually read this. Water soluble, which create a vivid ink-like medium when combined with a little water. Once dried, they're permanent. Ooh, we love that word here, don't we? Do we? I don't know. Maybe not. You can layer the colors, which is probably why they gave us such thick paper, so that as it dries, you can layer it again and then it won't obliterate the paper, so you need something good to be able to do that. They can be used dry or applied to wet washed paper for instant vibrance and intent color. Okay, I want to try like both ways. They gave us a ton of paper. I think one thing I want to try is take my spray bottle. That went down way harder than I expected. First thing I want to try is just like spray it, the paper directly, and then, I don't know, use one of these guys. Oh, see, the paper's warping. Maybe that was too much water. Anyway, I want to see what happens. Oh, what does it look like dry? Wait, I feel like I'm doing this out of order. So it's like a crayon when you use it dry. Now when you use it wet, does it fill the space? Why did I just go straight across the paper? Okay, I can see a little bit of bleeding outwards. It created like 2 separate parallel lines. So there's a little bleeding outwards. Oh, you can watch it move. I'll throw another color on it. I don't actually know what any of these colors look like. I just really jumped into here, didn't I? Looks very abstract and intentional. Try to keep it that way. You know what? This would be really pretty with a little like colored pencil on top. A little mixed media for some detail. Does it look like a flower? Looks like a little bouquet, eh? It's like fighting with the purple. These colors are all very vibrant. One might even call them Inktense. And once you add the water, like that's that rose color. I guess it's more of a red without water, and then that's what it looks like with water, and it's much more saturated and vibrant. So like swatching them like this isn't entirely accurate because they will look different once wet. So I'm gonna just throw some on, and then we can add water. They don't work quite like some of the art supplies I've tried in the past. Thing's probably going to come in handy. A ceramic palette, which is cleaner than I feel like it usually is when I'm not using it. Gotta prep the paintbrush. Ooh, so you can see the color change. Brown gets a little bit oranger. Red got a little pinker. Green, a bit more limey. And the blue, you know, the blue looks pretty similar. They do lighten up a little though. And this purple is such a grape color. Very grapey. I hate when it stains the end of the paintbrush. Why did they even make white paintbrushes? We do have one black pencil, which we could use for some outlines. But since it's a watercolor pencil, we do want to wait till this is dry or it's going to end up smudging outwards just like the color blocks did. This is interesting. I'm intrigued and entirely terrified, which means it's time to really dive in there. Kind of like I did here. And I think it turned out actually kind of cute. So I don't even hate it. I feel like once it's dry, I'd like to go over it with the black pencil and like find some details in that and make it look more like flowers maybe. Oh, I wonder if I could use like green to add like stems. Just some like little shapes. Ooh, they're blending in with the other colors. That's cool. Looks like weird broccoli now. Okay, well, let's try something else. I think a good place to try next. Be able to create some kind of wash gradient like this thing. I think the best way to do that would be to maybe like draw in this palette and then add water. And then you'll have basically, camera, thank you. And then you'd have some watercolors, liquid watercolors. Let me see how well the pencil blends out. That'll be good for adding some dark tones, although we do have the purple too for that. And then the white gel pen we'll test once everything's dry. We'll see if it goes over the dry ink blocks. So I wanted to try and make a gradient back into here. Try and do a rainbow around the edge. So start with yellow and then just draw in a little, add shavings. Let's add a little water. See how intense it is. Okay, these are pretty vibrant. I remember really liking the Derwent Inktense watercolor palette and the watercolor pencils, so I imagine this is pretty similar. Although this isn't quite as vibrant anymore. I think we're gonna need to add a lot more. Looks like the time I made homemade mustard. There we go. Let me just make some color out of all these. We'll meet back. I kind of like how opaque they look in the palette. What I really like about having this spray bottle is I can like measure the number of squirts that I put in each so that I know I'm being consistent. It's a very interesting color palette. I think I'm gonna have to limit the colors to get something looking, almost said snatched, good. That's the part that I usually find the most tricky, is finding a nice palette that doesn't clash with itself. That'll be the goal for today. I do want to try and recreate that gradient because I think it's so pretty. So we'll start with the yellow, which seems to have separated. Plop some of that down. We might want some just straight up water, blending easier. Let's go in with the red. That yellow. Blend it right on the paper, why not? Usually you can only do that with like really good paper. Okay, mine doesn't look as good. Or maybe if we go over it with this while it's wet and get it even more pigmented. Blend it out. Trying to figure out a good order of operations. Let's try again. This is where some watercolor skills might come in handy. Clearly this is something I need to practice, so this is time well spent. With that one, it just looks so much more saturated. I kind of think that that was just something made in the computer and not with this art supply. Mine looks more muted, and that's really saturated. Maybe it just needs more pigment. Keep layering it maybe? Because that's supposed to be something interesting about this art supply, is that you can layer it really well, or more easily than cheap watercolors. Kind of just looks like a blobby German flag. No, they have yellow in them. Whatever. I'm just having a hard time blending. It just sort of sits there, and I don't know if that's because of the way I created these pigments, taking the dry thing and crunching it up and adding water. They do look kind of grainy in here. Maybe I just haven't stirred them enough. Everyone's getting an extra blub. What I think I want to try is just doing light washes so that they'll dry faster, and then layering it once it's dry. I think I might have more luck with that. Just draw a couple of blobs. Let's use some other colors. Blue roses. I wonder if I can mix the green and the brown to get a less saturated green. Create some like leaves and stems and stuff. Adding a little purple in for some color variation. Let's let that dry and then layer some more of the pink. Rose color doesn't dry super fast, which I guess is good if it dries permanent. Gives you a little room to move it around. Add it where I want it. Yeah, it is getting a lot more vibrant. I don't really have anything to say. I'm just going about my business. How are y'all doing? Hope the family is well. Let's see what this looks like on top of the dry. Oh wow, you can get a nice line. Shapes. Well, that one must have been a little bit wetter. See how the width of the pencil's a little different? So far I'm not that pleased with the pigment, but I feel like it looks better there where it was drawn on instead of where I mixed it with water. While that's drying, I'm gonna read up on some tips and tricks. One of the ways Alice did it was Drew basically colored everything dry. And then she used a spray bottle and let the colors bleed together as like a first layer. Another way to do it is just wet the paintbrush and then dip it onto the block. Okay, that looks so much smoother. It's a little less grainy. It just dries so slow. Watercolor is usually like a very quick drying medium. Next I want to try, I should probably do that on a separate piece of paper so I don't mess with what I'm working on right there. We got room to experiment. So I want to try drawing with these and then spraying the bottle afterwards. I just feel like flowers and stuff make sense, but Alice drew, oh, she drew some flowers. Come on, gel pen, you're brand new. Doesn't really like drawing on this stuff. Oh yeah, see, it picked up pigment. Wait, clean that off. I don't know, I don't want anything to be too perfect. I want it to be nice and messy, and I don't want to focus on getting details. I feel like this art supply is going to have a little difficulty getting details, at least on my first go at it. So let's just go for something organic and blobular. I like the flower idea, like abstract doodly flower. Well, I still have no idea what's going to happen when I spray it. Colors are going to kind of blob out. Yellow flowers, yes. I like this abstract kind of cartoony doodle vibe. We'll use green for like the stem areas. And then we can layer that with the brown. I want some blue. Is there any blue flowers? What about those, like, make them lavenders? That was bound to happen, wasn't it? I'll be a little bit more gentle. Okay, right now the colors look real sloppy. I'm hoping on for the layering, we can kind of like blend different colors together and kind of just figure it out as we go. Here's my first layer. We're now gonna spray the water like Alice did. Here we go. Okay, I think this is actually gonna be really cool. I love the way the colors like exploded, and I think upon layering, that texture is gonna stay there in the background and it's gonna look really cool. If I do this again, make sure I tape it. The colors are all gonna bleed outwards like that. I'd rather them bleed inward. It refuses to bend. There. I think that'll just help the colors, though we made a big mess up there and on the edges. And we'll let that dry, our little mess. Let's move it back into this guy. One thing I'd like to try would be to like outline it with one of these rather than the pencil, because the pencil's black. But if we use one of these colors, it'll be more vibrant and cohesive. You can try it with the pencil too. I feel like this green would look really cool on top of the green that we mix. It's a little too hard to control. I think it's losing the cool brush strokes that were there. Try it with the black pencil. Add some texture, maybe a little shading. Try to copy the way that the watercolor dried, because those organic shapes are what I think really makes it interesting. I do like the blue. If I had a blue pencil, I think that's what I'd probably use for this. The color black is a little too bold, at least for something this small. I did kind of change up the texture a little. I used it more as a guideline. The highlights don't quite line up anymore. I think the pencil works a little better, just the finer detail on the smaller art. I might try just adding a little water. Blending out some of these. I like the pastel colors better. And you can actually blend out the pencil too because it's a watercolor pencil. Soften up these edges anywhere. It's weird, this dried but it still looks like it's wet. Feeling very abstract right now. Looks gross. Let's put some water. Make it worse. I just have a really hard time blending the colors. Although this worked really well with the leaves. Okay, I was feeling really overwhelmed, so I just felt like drawing something that I usually draw. I have no idea how I would use any of those Inktense things to draw something like this. Let's use them as a pan. So I'll use a little water. Grab it like that. Just add a little blush. Yeah, it's blending with the pencil. I knew it would happen. Even with a bit of the disaster, I think that's probably the best way to go about using these rather than how I did it here. It seems like it's more smooth. Blurry pencil aside. It doesn't look so bad. I do like using it as a palette. I'm gonna keep them in here so that I can do that without worrying about it getting on my desk and making stains. So we can use it like a palette. Try and avoid the lines. Gives me like stained glass vibes. Check on our little bouquet. I'm thinking if I can get the white gel pen to work, this could turn out really nice. While we're still waiting for that to dry, try to do something that's more in my style, kind of like this. A coal erase pencil would probably work really well for this. I can layer like inks on top of them without it looking muddy. Let me just find one. purple. All right, and now I'm just gonna draw like a portrait because all this drawing things that I don't know how to draw can be overwhelming. I'm just gonna sketch like I normally would. Maybe a beret. Kind of have a weird leaning pose and I'm digging, so I'm gonna try and emphasize that. Eyes, eyebrows, and ears, my favorite. I'm gonna try and draw like the underside of the chin. I always find that really difficult. Ooh, erase. That's the first time I've erased this whole day. Shoulders, arms, bangs. He looks like a food mascot for some reason. Something like a shape to fit this space. Maybe more flowers, since that seems to be something I keep drawing. I think it works well in paint medium. Does it look like she's looking down at you? Add a little tone and depth. Push that part of the hair backwards. I'm losing the ears. I hate erasing ears. It goes against my code. It's not what leaves look like. I did a beret, but then I was like thinking of a summer outfit. I don't know if that works. Berets seem winter fall. Not exactly a summer hat. I guess I should do more of a fall outfit. Make it long sleeves. Or 3/4 lengths. There we go. Transitional. Do like a wide neck. Very happy looking. Shouldn't have used that eraser. When the color erase pencils get old, the erasers get really gross. And they can give your characters beards. Give her a nice little skirt. Maybe pleated with a waistband. There. So next I want to use this as a palette. Add some color onto here. And then we'll go over it with this pencil once that's dry. So for skin, we can maybe start with the pink and this mixed together. Clean water. I'll keep it over here. What does this look like? I think I might just start with the brown. We'll concentrate it towards the the blushy areas and then blend outwards. And anywhere where it might be more shade. Where'd that blue come from? She has a blue chin. Literally have no idea where that came from. Must have been on the paintbrush. Cover over it a little darker down here, where it might be in shade. I don't know, this stuff's still a little gooey. I don't know. It's just got texture to it that I'm not in love with. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think the palette I've used before had something sort of similar, but the colors are just so vibrant. I was like, whatever, who cares, right? But here, it's not having quite the same effect. And I suppose the purple pencil isn't helping. Pink would have been better. I'm gonna mix the green and the brown again for these leaves back here. At least gives me an idea of like the green color is gonna be back there, so I should make better decisions maybe with the hair. For the hair, I'm really hoping for like a red or an orange. Let's start with like the rose color. I don't know how something so wet can look so dry. This art supply bewilders me. Eyebrows. Now I want to mix this with a lot more water. Can always go darker. Might as well start really light, build up from there. I was picturing it more orange. I don't know if I could layer it with maybe some yellow. Guess I'm trying it. Sometimes I just do things without thinking, unless it looks just as pink. What if I can use a little bit of this on the nose? Blend it out a little bit. Do a little something for the lips. Then I guess that leaves yellow for the beret, right? I think I'm gonna use this because I think it's gonna be a bit more vibrant. Let me see how this looks versus the little palette I made. Oh, they look very similar. I don't think it matters. Just go on in. Don't forget the little knob. Thinking yellow for the skirt, and then maybe purple stripes on the shirt. I feel like stripes go with berets, mimes, and stuff. Oh, I guess that's supposed to be skin right there. Oh, the skirt could have been pink too. We could do like a gradient. Try layering them to get that orange color. Just start with the yellow. Definitely gonna need a little bit more tone. I think we could use some more contrast, more water for the knuckles. A little shading under here. I do like that you can layer it without messing up what you've blended underneath because it doesn't lift once it's dry. But it also means if you like leave blobs like those, then they're there forever. Oh, and like flowers and stuff. Try and use our palette over here. Throw in some flowies. Then we'll use purple for the stripes instead of black. Or we could actually just use the pencil for that. Well, let's try it with the purple first. And try to be really light-handed with the paintbrush. Let's see what happens. Follow the curves of the body. Oh no, I smooshed. There you go, stripey. And the cool thing is, once this dries, I can go over it with shading and it's not gonna lift the lines. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's supposed to work that way. A little bit of purple mixed with the pink for some shading on the skirt. Since I used purple for the pencil, it's gonna just sort of fit in anyway. Ooh, it's working. Look, I was able to push this arm further into the back. I wanna add some here. Push this further back, maybe. Maybe we'll just avoid blue. We don't really need blue in this color scheme. I don't know. Go over the flowers a little more. I think that needs to just dry. It's basically dry except for what I just did, the flowers. Let's go back to our other project, this wobbly guy. If I go back to like the palette idea or use these guys here, we can kind of just mix up some of the edges. Maybe this does just look kind of messy. I don't know. I know about as much as you do. What I need is like a white paint to like create some contrast in here. It's all blended and blobby. Layer a little yellow over the green. I do have a white pastel. Kind of wonder if that would work here. I guess it's not opaque enough. Yeah. Guess we could try the white gel pen again.
Although you failed me last time.
I don't see it at all. Draws on my finger. Maybe some white paint. We also still have the black pencil to really find some contrast in here, but I would like some white. How about some white acrylic paint? I don't know what else to do with this. There we go. Bringing some more highlight into this. Make that a little bit more subtle. Add a little white space in here. It does need like another white flower, I feel like. A small one. To balance it out. There's a thing. It's definitely an improvement from what it looked like before, if you remember. So we'll let that dry and then we'll go over that with the pencil. Back to her girl. I don't know what to call it. Do I want to layer any more colors? It's all dry. If I'm ready, we can go in with the pencil. I think I am. Start with the flowers and the greenery. See how much detail we can shove in here. Maybe a little bit of shading. I'm trying to like follow the little imperfections of the paint. I'm not a big fan of the black. I think if I had a different color, like even a purple or something, that would look really, really cool and a little bit softer. Once we go over the whole drawing, it'll make it more cohesive. Fill in all those little gaps where there's no color. Yeah, like a pink pencil here for the hair would be really fun. Deepen this a little more. I'm gonna sharpen it before I do the eyeballs. Ta-da! Those are some wide eyes. Ooh, sometimes you don't notice when you're in a less vibrant color. I'm gonna make her look up and to the left. It's just too freaky. Leave a little highlight since I'm having trouble with the white gel pen. Finishing up with those hands. Oh, wait, these flowers. Definitely some things I would change if I were able to, but overall, I think it turned out pretty nice. Kind of just forced the art supplies to work the way I'm more comfortable with. Let's see how my more experimental piece is going. It's not dry yet. Are you kidding me? I bet there's some areas where I could maybe go over it with the pencil. The colors are so vibrant, like I feel like the black doesn't even stand out, unlike with this one where I use more pastels. Maybe add some depth by like filling in a lot of spaces. I don't know, that rose color is really dark. It's like hard to draw with this. Like to do little fine details. Push back these blue flowers by going over them. It's actually really hurting my wrist. Even get this to show up on these dark colors. And while beauty is pain, fun is not pain. And I'm not seeing a lot of beauty. So it doesn't really quite have the that I thought it would when I like sprayed it and saw all the colors come out. It's just a little too muddy looking. I don't love it, but it was a fun experiment. I actually kind of still like this. Like abstract, it's just some blobs, but I see flowers in it. Whereas this, it's like trying to tell me flowers, but I'm like,
Ew, but the colors don't look good.
Whereas this, I'm like,
Ooh, it's vibrant and it kind of looks like flowers.
So I like this one better than this one. And then this is my favorite because I had the most fun with it because it's a person and I like drawing persons. Oh, and then we have our swatches. This was an interesting art supply. I don't think I'm going to be reaching for it, so I'll probably pass it along. I do want to thank Scrawlrbox for sending this box my way to try out and to share with you guys. If you're interested in getting your own Scrawlrbox subscription, I will have links in the description. Oh, and congratulations, Alice, for being June's featured artist. You know what, this would look nice with like a little blue wash in the background. First put down the water, then the blue. Ooh, water, 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 blue, blue, blue. I feel like it makes the yellow pop more because they're complementary, you know? Ooh, I like that better. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye.